And when it comes to giving back, though, Carly, we love talking about our entertainment. That has given us so much during this time. And I know you recently binge watched an old show that kind of ties in with our first guests, right?
Yes, I know. So Gossip Girl, I was very late to this, Natalie. You had watched it years ago and you had told me you need to watch it. Well, that show Emily in Paris, that's like a big show on Netflix. There were so many like things that brought in Gossip Girl. So that's what got me in it. And then I just find out there's a new Gossip Girl coming. And our next two guests, the sisters that we've been talking about, we have JaSheika and JaNeika James joining us from the Bay Area. They are writers for the new Gossip Girl. Good morning. I know we're talking about Gossip Girl, but you guys have a book that's being released this week. There's so much to dive into with both of you. But first, congratulations on everything. We love to hear about people from right here in the Bay Area that are doing really big things. And I know diversity and making sure that everything is, as you can, representative in Hollywood. You guys are up to the challenge and doing great things. Explain why that's important to you, ladies.
Oh my gosh, it's always just been inherent, in our lives, and just extremely important. It actually is the reason why we currently work in Hollywood, is because we saw a TV show called Living Single on Fox years ago and found out that it was created by a Black woman, Yvette Lee Bowser. And that's what kind of planted the seed in our heads that, oh, wow, we love TV, but we had no clue that this is something that we could actually do one day. And it kind of is the title of our book, Living Double, pays homage to Living Single, and the idea, the fact that we're twins and having living double.
I'm curious. Of course, we talk about your background a little bit, but the interest that you've had, you both have stellar resumes from shows that you've been involved with in the past. So I would like it if you could touch on some of the shows that you've worked on for people. Maybe mention Revenge, which is a show I still miss, by the way, on ABC. Regardless, you both have the different resumes, and then you've come together. Explain how being twins and having the same interests really allowed you to have different careers, but yet similar ones when it comes to hit shows.
Yeah. So when we always wanted to be writers, but when we first started out in the business, we had to work our way, from the bottom and then, bring us to the top. But I started out basically I've worked on Desperate Housewives, I worked on Dexter, and then finally I got my a chance to get into the writer's room as a writer's assistant on Revenge. And that is what led me down the path of becoming staffed as a writer. So. Yes. And initially, when I moved out here, I started out in comedy. So I started working on a TV show on UPN, which is a network that no longer exists, crazy enough, called Half and Half. And I worked for several comedy showrunners. And then saw that my sister got staffed on Revenge and said, well, maybe I should get 1-hour shows on my resume. And that's when I started working in scripted at VH1 on shows like Hit the Floor and Single Ladies and things like that. And so after working on at VH1, and after JaSheika was working on Revenge, we came together on Empire as a team of writers, as staff. Yeah.
So let's talk about this book, because what is so fabulous about the two of you, and kind of from what I've been able to kind of see, and I saw some other interviews that you've been able to do and kind of just introducing you, you both are just so willing and just so you want to give back and you want to give advice and you want to encourage others that are kind of walking in your footsteps to do the same. And I don't think you see a lot of that already, at your age and kind of where you're at.
Oh, thank you so much. It's something that is really important to us. It's been extremely important throughout our whole journey, just because we're women from Tampa who had absolutely no connection to Hollywood. But we had a dream, and it's something that we see in other people that they feel like, oh, I don't have any, I don't know access, or I don't know the steps to actually get there. And it's like, we didn't know. Yeah. But we had the vision for it. And we just kind of want to, reiterate that to so many people out there with big dreams, especially right now, that you can do this too. It's not, it's not that, far away, essentially, yeah.
So who's the best kind of reader for your book, do you think, that would, is it for those, what age are you thinking? Anybody kind of interested in getting into the TV world?
For us, it's we want the book to be for dreamers. It doesn't matter what age you are, or what industry. Yeah. Our story is a Hollywood story, but I think that, anybody who feels that they have big, lofty goals and just wants to achieve something,
but feels like they don't know what steps they need to take. We just want to continue to reiterate, have a vision for it, know where you want to be, and you can step into it.
You know, I think, ladies, that people, you were talking about being writers. You don't hear a lot about writers. You always hear about, the people in front of the camera, the actors. Carly and I, get questions all the time. How did you get to your position? One of the things I've read, though, you talk about the privilege of being underestimated. And I think that's interesting, the privilege of being underestimated. How are you able to use that thought, if you will, of being underestimated to help you break these glass ceilings and really propel yourselves? Because of course, that is not an easy challenge.
It isn't at all. But I will tell you, the reason why I say it's a privilege is because when people have such low expectations, when the bar is low, then you can set it out, kick it out the door, you know what I'm saying, immediately, when you show them what you're capable of doing. And I think for us, and many times in our career, people will underestimate, our ability and what we're capable of doing.
Yeah, and we used to get frustrated by it. And what we're telling people is don't let it frustrate you. Supersede their expectations. You go every single time. If the bar is set so low, it's like, oh, you have no problem busting it wide open.
And well, you guys have done that well beyond. I mean, you've gone through 10-story ceilings, we're saying. Ladies, real quick, we got to wrap. Gossip Girl, when is the new one coming out? Do we have a date yet?
Oh, we don't have a date quite yet, but it will be sometime next year.
Yes.
Okay. Any other big shows you guys are working on?
No, just right now, currently Gossip Girl.
Yes.
All right, come back when that comes, when that releases, will you?
Lovely, absolutely. Thank you.
Good stuff. Ladies, awesome to meet you.
Thank you so much. It was so great to meet you.
We'll put info on our website, and certainly I know people can follow you on social media. Thank you, ladies. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Bye.